at the ElDerado Polo Club on the 17th of March, 1991. ElDerado, and most particularly the newly constructed Mac Linfoot polo hitting cage. Stop. A few meters from the clubhouse is the newly constructed Mac Linfoot hitting cage. This cage has three major functions here at the club. On the back side of the cage, we have a polo school where Reggie Lugwood, our polo professor here, will have a student sit on a bench there, look down into the cage, and receive instructions on polo hitting. On the front side of the cage, we have a polo shop where we sell polo memorabilia, ElDerado polo shirts and T-shirts and things like that on our Sunday and on our big game days. People, visitors and tourists can also get a chance to use the cage while they're there and get up and try to see what it's like to be a polo player while they're just visiting ElDerado. Off to the right of the cage, we have a little platform for little kids to come up and watch their parents or whoever they wish try their hand on a special horse we have there named Woody D. Then, of course, during most of the week, 6.5 days a week, the cage is utilized for the regular usage. For polo players, they rent or get a key from the office, and they come up here and they use the cage by themselves to sharpen their skills at hitting.
Improving reflexes is good, but if you're trying to concentrate on one shot, it's not as good as this format.
Let me ask you, Alex, how do you find this cage to be different than the typical square cage that's been built in the past?
Well, I think the most important thing here is that, as Sam pointed out, the ball returns back to the same spot where you were originally making the shot, so you can practice one shot continually. The other thing that we find here is that we took the danger out of this cage by elongating it to 40 feet, whereas our original cage that we had down in the barn area at ElDerado was about 20 feet and made of concrete, and consequently when you're in there, the ball would return at such great speed that you almost had to wear a helmet because you were getting hit by the ball when you were practicing in the cage.
And so the length is 40 feet and the width is?
16.
16 feet.
Yes.
And the primary reason the ball keeps coming back to you is?
Well, the troughs, the way that the original design architecturally was that the ball runs into the same trough every time when you're practicing a near side or offside shot.
Now the history of the cage, Alex, the Mac Linfoot name?
Well, too much on history. I can't tell you that this was a set of plans that were originally done by Judd Mack and Billy Linfoot, as I understand it, and over the years had been upgraded and brought to the point of the finished product that you see here today.
And our architect here, our architect for this cage, the plans?
I give up.
Professor Vic Thompson?
Vic Thompson, that's right.
Professor Vic Thompson of Stanford University fame?
And did a great job on the plans.
And where can somebody receive a copy of these plans?
Well, the USPA now has in Kentucky has a set of the plans. You can call the 800 number and get the plans from them.
Wonderful. Now we have Sam on top of the horse in the Mac Linfoot cage. This horse is named Woody D, a horse that lived from 42 to 70 and was a special Oxley stallion featured in a Walt Disney and Bob Ski movie entitled Stormy. And so we gave our wooden horse a little flair here. Sam is sitting on Woody D, and if you notice, as you look around the cage, the real heart of this cage is that it comes with 4 troughs, 4 enormous V's, each one nearly 20 feet long, and regardless of where you strike the ball, it's going to go into the air, it's going to fall into one of these 4 troughs and be funneled back down to either the near side or the off side of the wooden horse, so that the polo student or the polo player has an opportunity to continually strike the ball without having to relocate the ball and find it like you would in a more square type cage. Okay. If you notice the netting there, the netting allows the ball to come back at a softer speed rather than coming back at 90 miles an hour. It softens Across the lagoon here at ElDerado is the Polo Training Foundation School that Reggie. Sam right now is showing you the use of the Macklin foot cage at its best. He's practicing his near side forward shot repeatedly. It's going off the net on the forward ball cable, so that a beginner can hold on to it while he's hitting the ball, or a visitor to the club. It has a handhold to the rear of the pommel. Sam was putting his hand on that just now. A handhold to the rear, the rear of the saddle, so that a visitor who's not familiar with horses can easily climb up on the horse. Witness and to avoid someone tripping on a ball when they first enter the cage. The cage has a security door. It has no electricity, security, or pays a small rental charge. Now we have a typical visitor to polo here this afternoon. He's a typically, have you ever been in a polo cage before, sir?
Once.
Once, you were?
Yeah, you and I were...
That wasn't the answer we wanted from a typical tourist. Then how do you, what do you contribute your athletic ineptitude?
Age and neglect.
So, but you are not a professional polo player.
Correct.
Are you?
This is the liveliest horse I've ever been on.